Thou shalt not kill is still a 10 commandment. The last time I checked for Christianity.
I think it's still there. Is it still there?
It still should be there. Now, we do know that, historical documents that say true things have been revised in this digital age. But as far as I know, Christian tenets are still that thou shalt not kill. The Pope then had some really confusing politics over the weekend because he seems to be okay with killing if it means killing Russians. Over the weekend, he said this on a visit to France. What he's talking about is that Poland has decided it will no longer give weapons to Ukraine after Ukraine decided to sue them. And so the Pope says, well, now I see some countries are pulling back and aren't giving weapons. This will start a process where the martyrdom is the Ukrainian people, certainly, and this is bad. So we're doing double negatives here. He thinks it's bad to not give weapons, meaning it's good to give weapons. The Christian Pope said this. Okay. Now, he says we cannot play with the martyrdom of the Ukrainian people. Again, I think in the segment before, we talked about how this war began because of ordered attacks on Russian-speaking Ukrainians, right? So, okay. He says we have to help resolve things in a way that are possible, not to make illusions that tomorrow the two leaders will go out together to eat, but do whatever is possible. So what is he saying here? That Ukraine must be provided with more weapons? Does he know that they use them to fire on civilians? Does he know that Ukraine's been attacking civilian areas since 2014? I'm confused. Maybe he just doesn't know that. We know that, again, Zelensky ordered attacks on Crimea and the Donbass in 2021 and 2022. And as a result, the people living there asked Russia to intervene and protect them and voted to do so. So maybe the Pope doesn't know this. Jacques Bode, former NATO specialist, calls this war in Ukraine a negotiation that turned into a crisis. But look at that last line that the Pope said. We can't make illusions that tomorrow the two leaders will go out together to eat. So basically, he's saying we cannot hope for peace talks. That's foolhardy. We got to go with the weapons, basically. This, again, is just not what you would expect from a Christian leader.
Now, people in the chat are pointing out that they're saying, he's Catholic, and a lot of, I guess, Christians in the chat are saying, well, Catholicism is not Christianity.
Catholicism is a sect of Christianity,
right.
Though. A sect is when you take a doctrine and use similar interpretations of the same thing. So a cult is when a brand new person comes up with a brand new thing. But because Christians accept Jesus Christ as their leader, that is a sect of Christianity, Catholicism.
So like a cult is Scientology, where you just
sure,
you just create something.
Yeah.
And
so if I were to say the cult, my religious doctrine is only to eat peanut butter, then, and I think that that's the way that you save yourself in this world. That is a brand new doctrine, and I write a whole new book about it. But given that there is the Bible and the same leader, this is a spin-off of a similar doctrine. It is a sect of Christianity. That is technically what we're calling that. So I would say that Catholics, and you should speak for yourself if you're a Catholic, but I think that, the idea of behaving in a Christian way is a shared belief among all sects of Christianity. So if you want to talk about this later, we can. But I think that Catholics would agree killing is bad. Can we at least agree on that if we're going to go through the technicalities? Right.
If we can have differences of opinion about sex versus this and all of this. But yeah, I think we can all agree that killing is bad and that the war is bad. And that the Catholic leader probably should be calling for peace.
Peace talks, right. Yeah. And he's saying here, peace talks are basically foolhardy. They're not going to have a meal together. So let's go with the weapons. I think it just sounds like he's been Joe Biden. Like he's not even there. That seems like such a strange thing. Now, the Pope further says that the interests in this war are related to the sale of weapons. True, right? A Vatican spokesperson, though, clarified that the Pope emphasized that those who sell arms never pay the consequences for their choice, but leaves the reckoning to the suffering of the people. But he spoke in favor of weapons. So that's confusing. What am I missing here? Now, he made a bigger splash when he spoke about the migrant crisis, though, and this is where people are kind of losing their minds about this. He's saying that European leaders are politicizing this migrant crisis, and it's really not that bad. We're going to play about 2 minutes of him. He speaks quite slowly, so just prepare to be patient. Watch.
Let's talk about the harbor. The port of Marseille, for a long time, has been an open door towards the ocean. Many left Marseille to find a better future abroad, and many people found their way into the continent carrying hope in their luggage. Marseille is a great port, but it's also a great door that must not be closed. Many Mediterranean ports have closed. There are two words that bring fear: emergency and invasion. But the people taking to the sea are not invading. They're seeking hospitality. Migrants are not a passing emergency. As useful as that might be to make people scared and to spur them into action, this is a process that involves 3 continents around the Mediterranean, a process that needs to be managed in a forward-thinking way, that must be managed in a responsible way and must be managed in a way that looks at the reality of the situation. The favorite ports for arrival are in Malta, Cyprus, Italy, Spain.
We can stop this here. So, that's nice. He's saying that they're just scaring us with the idea of emergency. Well, the numbers don't bear out because most European ports are accepting double and triple the numbers that they're used to in a normal year. And of course, if you want to be Christian or any religion or a good Catholic, you want to ascribe to this idea of taking care of all men, peace and security of all family, no hunger for anybody. I'm with you, except governments cannot replicate the miracle of Jesus and feed 5,000 people with 2 fish and 5 loaves. I have not seen that done in modern day. Here are the crowds that we've seen throughout Europe. Think about, the Pope feeding this crowd with 5 loaves and 2 fish. I don't know. I'm not doubting that it happened at one time. I'm saying I don't see it happening today. Local governors are asking for help, not because they don't want these people, but because they cannot care for them all at once. That's sort of how that works. That's why we have immigration systems now in place. Here is what the internet is suggesting about this. Vatican City has 120 acres and only has a few hundred residents.
Oh, here we go.
I think there's hundreds of rooms, dozens of rooms, right?
Yeah.
If the Pope really wants to show hospitality, he can too.
Alfie on our Rumble chat says, they should go to the Vatican. So Alfie agrees with this assessment.
Yeah.
This was tried before, though. Go ahead, David.
I was going to say, it's also the richest city in the world, so they can afford it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think it's the richest country in the world.
It's a country.
Yeah.
And they do not accept immigrants. You cannot migrate into that country.
Well, we did learn this, of course, in World War II, when the Vatican, of course, was housing right before deportation to the death camps. Of course, Pope Pius XII, the quote unquote Hitler's Pope, right? So this has been tried before. We'll hold these Jews for a short amount of time, but we'll kind of look the other way. We know they're being sent off to the death camp. So, we're not going to let them stay here at the Vatican. So this has been tried before.
Oh.
People seeking refuge from war or whatever, but we're not going to actually help them out. So we'll look the other way. And when everyone called on Pope Pius to denounce what was about to happen to these Jews, look the other way.
Okay, so maybe that's not a great place. If you're a migrant, maybe you don't want to start in the Vatican.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So then we're not making any suggestions. This was the internet suggestion. Again,
or Westminster Abbey or any of the large, all of this push for maybe open up Westminster Abbey or Buckingham Palace or all of those places, right?
Yeah.
They really want it. Or the White House. They could put tents on the White House lawn.
Right. They're saying, walls are a bad thing. Welcome everybody. But that's for you to do, not us.
Yeah.
It's not a matter of not wanting other people to live comfortably or being stingy or, reaching out for political gain. It's a matter of whether or not we want to live in an ordered society. And right now, we have borders for that reason. If we don't want that, then maybe we're in favor of social collapse, which may in fact be what we're seeing. This is what Elon Musk says about that. He says, it feels like we're watching the Roman Empire collapse again, but with Wi-Fi and memes this time. Yeah, it does feel like we're tearing down all social contracts, and we're going to have to build new ones, right? Or something. I don't know. But let us know what you think.
Thank you so much for watching this segment here at Redacted. We are live every day at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, trying to share the stories that the mainstream media will not cover. You should also come over and join our community of Redacted Rebels over at redacted.inc. That's our private locals community where we can share exclusive content that we simply cannot share here on YouTube. Come over and join the rebellion together right now by going to redacted.inc. We'll see you next time.